Hello, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to June's social media roundup. Hope you're all okay this June, this end of June, in this very miserable weather. Certainly not the weather that we had the other week, which I was loving, but nonetheless I'm hoping it's going to return. So 10 days of rain coming up apparently, but I hope you're all okay. So I'm going to give this a few more seconds to see if we get any more viewers tune in. I can see Mia's watching. Hi Mia. If you can give me a thumbs up that you can see and hear everything okay, that would be fabulous before I get going. We have got a packed roundup for you today that Mia has kindly pulled together for us this month. So she's done a fantastic job. Loads of stuff has happened this month that we're going to kind of break down for you. And we will also add this onto our website. So don't worry too much if there's stuff that you want to write notes about or you want to read in more detail. We've got all the links to the articles in our blog post, which we will have later, live later for you today. Okie doke, so I've got a few people watching, which is brilliant. For anybody who does watch us on the replay, and I've been doing these for 4 years now. He actually put out a post last month saying that this has been, March celebrated the 4th year of doing these social media roundups. So it's great that they've proved really valuable for everybody, and I'm really pleased that we've been able to keep the momentum going. I love sharing with you all the news from the month just gone. Some of this stuff is going to be really useful for businesses. We kind of talk about the changes to the main social media platforms and how you can integrate that into your social media strategy. But we also often kind of touch upon anything that might benefit you guys personally as well from a social media standpoint. So yeah, really glad that we can continue bringing these for you each month, and do head into the video section of our Facebook page if you want to catch up on months and months, years and years worth of updates. So yeah, go and take a look. Okie doke, let's start with Facebook first of all, the lovely wonderful Facebook. A few changes that we've highlighted this month in the roundup. One being about managing messages. So obviously we know Facebook owns WhatsApp, it owns Instagram, and they've kind of realised that managing all those engagements and those messages in several places can often be time consuming. So they're now making it easier for page managers to respond to their direct messages a lot easier through one entry point through your personal messenger account. So we know that, like with the likes of Twitter or Insta, for example, when you tap and hold on your profile, you can switch between accounts. Well, now you'll be able to toggle on your messenger inbox in between the various pages that you manage as well. So that means you're going to be able to answer DMs on the go, direct from your mobile phone. This is only being rolled out on iPhone, on iOS at the moment, but Android is coming in the next few weeks. And we've put in the roundup that on the back of this, Facebook's also working to integrate its messenger plan, and it will hopefully at some stage allow you to do the same thing with WhatsApp. So all from one place on your phone, a messenger inbox that will pick up not only Facebook messages, Insta messages, but WhatsApp messages as well. Last month, we also saw that there had been a kind of temporary ban, I would say, on advertising around kind of COVID-19 PPE equipment, predominantly actually with masks. We actually saw an update a couple of weeks ago to say that that had now been lifted. They're not allowing you to advertise medical masks. What they're doing is medical masks because they can't keep on top of or kind of monitor the kind of NHS or the kind of medical standpoint on those. But non-medical masks are now allowed to be promoted and paid for in advertising on Facebook. And then the other thing that we picked up just at the back end of last week, which is now being introduced, we mentioned it I think last month, around paid for events. So obviously we've seen a lot of stuff moving from face-to-face to online in the light of COVID and everybody moving to a more remote or working from home setup. and they started talking about the ability to to set up events on Facebook, but also to take payment for those events. The events section of Facebook is actually a really powerful marketing tool that they have. So this was really great to see that they're now starting to roll these out across various countries. We've had a few client pages be notified that they're now eligible to take payments directly through events. So what does that mean for you? If you're holding webinars, for example, tutorials, etc., you can now create an event on Facebook. You can now take payment for that event for people to attend directly through that event page, and you can then deliver that through that. You can deliver that session through the event as well. So kind of a bit like Zoom, I guess. But this could be carried out on computers, laptops. Can't quite do it yet on your mobile phone, but you can make this up. We've seen with live videos, quizzes as well. We've seen lots of charities hosting quizzes to raise money during lockdown. But yeah, ultimately this is going to allow your users and your followers and your audience to enjoy some more premium content, they call it, while gathering virtually money, even just from working from home. Awesome. Okay, so that's the kind of main things from Facebook. Then we've got Insta. So the main changes that we've picked up for you guys this month on Instagram are around the shopping and product tags. So unless you had an e-commerce website and you had a catalogue attached to your Instagram, you wouldn't have been able to create what we call shoppable tags in your posts. Last month, Facebook announced that they were going to create a shopping platform within their channels, within Facebook and Insta, for those people and smaller businesses who didn't have that function on their website. And this month they've announced that they will now allow, or they're currently testing shopping and product tags off the back of that e-commerce platform, what they're calling shops. So this tag will be added to posts, as you see on many who have e-commerce, and when clicked on, it will take you to that shoppable product page. But at the moment, there's only a very limited number of American accounts using this through iOS, and so they're the only ones that have the feature at the moment. But it does tend to kind of get rolled out once they've done that testing base in certain countries. So yeah, hopefully that's going to come out to businesses in the very near future. Another lovely update we saw this month in that Instagram are now allowing you to run adverts without having to connect to a Facebook page. So brilliant if you're just running your social marketing off Instagram. Previously, when you wanted to advertise, you had to link up a Facebook page and run it through Ads Manager there. But the platform has advised if you're promoting a post for the first time, you will no longer, sorry to get my words out, you will no longer have to connect it to a Facebook ad account or a Facebook page. But this is only for those who are advertising for the first time. Those who will already have linked accounts won't be able to disconnect them to carry on running ads. Again, only currently available in a few regions, but they are testing that and likely to roll that out in the coming months. They're also testing a place they're also testing an update to its recommended content listing. So these listings appear within your news feed, in your main feed. Once you're all caught up with posts from other connections, they'll then have an option to promote to you what you think you might want to see in your feed. So you can then once you've caught up in your main feed, you'll either get the option to see older posts that you might have seen before, or to keep scrolling and discover new content. So this could really benefit businesses as people are kind of using that app to browse more and shop. And so these recommendations given by Instagram will be linked to those kinds of searches. So remember to use the correct kind of hashtags that you want your target demographic to find you for, and then hopefully that'll get your content picked up and suggested in newsfeed by the platform. Really interesting stat we saw last month around news and the consuming of news. Apparently, Instagram is quickly becoming a popular source of news for users aged 18 to 24, and apparently it's set to overtake Twitter, which is really interesting. And this is on the back of a recent digital news report, which has seen the numbers double since 2018. and 2/3 of people under 25 are saying they use it for news and are more likely to access these stories via social media than that of a website or a dedicated news app. So that's really interesting. And we'll start to see a kind of news section like they have from Facebook on Instagram too. Okie doke. That's Insta. Obviously, if you've got any questions, guys, do pop them into the comments for us. We'll pick them up as we go and in the future. And just a reminder that we will add this as a blog post to our website with the full links to all the stories too. Twitter, love this little update from Twitter that we saw a couple of weeks ago called Clips. So you can now basically tweet your voice, they're saying. They've recently announced a new feature which is going to allow you to attach a voice memo to your tweets. A bit like voice clips in WhatsApp, which I don't know about you, but I love to use. So they're hoping it's going to give a bit more of a human touch. And I kind of see it as a like mini podcasting feature, which I think will really add a better dimension to content that we consume on that channel. So to use it, all you simply have to do is tap the Tweet Compose button, tap the new sound wave. If you haven't seen that yet, there's a little sound wave in the bar. Hit and record, click done when you're finished. They are limited to 140 seconds, so going back to that original tweet limit, character limit on tweets. But if you have more to say, then they'll just start another clip for you and make a thread, literally how they allow you to create more than one tweet in a message now as well. It's going to be rolled out to iOS users in the coming weeks. No date as to when Android will have it yet though, and obviously this is a mobile first kind of feature. So I'm definitely going to jump on board with that. If you guys have already started using it, let me know. Or if you think it's an exciting feature, I'd love to hear what you guys think. And if you start to play with it too, let us know about any successes. Okay, a new list search option as well on Twitter they're releasing soon. This update is going to have a show more recommendations option in the discover new lists section. So here you'll be able to find new lists from the recommendations by Twitter based on who you already follow and your current lists. So there's already an option to search for a particular topic yourself, but you'll now be able to find lists as well. If people don't use lists on Twitter, I highly recommend them. They're a great way to build up a following and start follow more people without kind of clogging up your news feed, I guess. You know, using lists to really pull together curated feeds of what you're interested in does save you time when it comes to engagement and interaction. So yeah, lists are really, really useful if you haven't started using them already. And this new list search option will help you to discover more, not only users, but also content that you might be interested in. Yeah, so Lisa, great question. There is a time limit on Twitter voice notes. It's 140 seconds. So going back to, as I said, the original character limit in tweets. But if you do have more to say, it will simply continue creating more notes for you and add it into the tweet as a thread. Cool. Another thing that came back last month, Twitter verification, if everybody remembers that. People used to have a blue tick next to their name to show that their account was verified and therefore likely a trusted source of information. This was taken away, can't even remember now, quite some time ago. First of all, it was just there for influencers or news outlets particularly. Then they introduced the ability for you to request your own account be verified, and then the function was actually removed altogether. So it doesn't surprise me that they've brought this back in the wake of fake news, particularly around political content that we've seen in recent years, and COVID-19 fake accounts, etc. So they are going to be looking to bring back the option to allow individual users to request verification on Twitter. We don't know when this is actually going to go live yet. They're still working on that process, but basically once it's finalised, there's going to be a public document. There will be a document to share with you that will allow you to request the verification, and it will be and they'll be telling you basically what qualifies to verify an account. So look out for that. And yeah, as they said, they hope this is going to bring more clarity and transparency to the accounts that we see on the platform, and actually tell people, help them to understand what qualifies as a verified account. Fleets as well. So everybody's going stories nuts since, you know, Snapchat, and then Instagram took it from Snapchat, and then it came onto Facebook, and WhatsApp plays with stories a little bit, although weirdly I don't think anybody uses them. I certainly don't. And LinkedIn as well, looking to introduce that stories feature. And Twitter are testing their own stories feature, and it's called Fleets. It's only being tested at the moment in Brazil. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how this goes and how that test rolls out, because I don't understand, well, I do understand why they would want to try and introduce something like this, but Twitter is such a fast-flowing platform that's all about microblogging, which in effect is what stories are. It's those short, snackable sound bites of behind-the-scenes content and thoughts, which is what Twitter has always kind of been built on. So to add a stories feature to their platform is an interesting choice. So I'm intrigued to see how users will differentiate between what they might put out as a tweet versus what they might put out as a story. So, and given the fact that stories only last 24 hours, which is what Fleets will also do, it kind of seems a bit, not contradictory, but it doesn't seem to fit well with their platform, because of the nature of how Twitter works. All that content that you consume is pushed down the newsfeed so quickly anyway, it may as well only have a kind of shelf life of 24 hours. But we shall see. Cool, so yeah, they're going to be testing, the testing's going on at the moment in Brazil, and when it's rolled out to everybody, we'll kind of keep you posted. But again, what are your thoughts on that? Let me know. Hootsuite. So we've got a little short update here about Hootsuite that I saw, got a notification when I logged in a couple of weeks ago. If anybody does use Hootsuite to schedule content, they have now added a feature to make your videos that you're adding in more accessible without sound. So if you have subtitle files, if you do create subtitle files for video content, you will now be able to upload that to Twitter or Facebook video posts directly through Hootsuite, which is useful. Yeah, and we've got a little note here, if you haven't already, adding alt text to your images through Hootsuite can make them really more accessible as well. Okie dokie, so moving through to some of the smaller updates we've got for you. Google, some things from Google this month. They're taking on Pinterest with their latest platform update called Keens, which is interesting. So these are similar to Pinterest boards. They can be shared or kept private. And just as Pinterest does, these curate content based on your interests and what you enjoy doing. And according to Google, you can use Google search and the latest in machine learning to remain on the lookout for helpful content related to your interests, so that you can add them to your Keens, which I quite like that. It's quite a quirky little term. Fact checking as well on Google. So fact check information in Google Images has been rolled out in an attempt to clarify the authenticity or context of pictures in searches. So if you see a fact check label under the thumbnail in your search results, you can tap that to view a larger preview of the image, and then Google will then display a summary of the information contained on the web page where the image is featured. So I think that's a really useful update there from Google. YouTube is adding a new e-commerce products listing beneath their video ads. So this will guide viewers to specific products from a product catalogue. Again, if you're an e-commerce business here. And these products will be displayed below your video while it plays. So all you have to do is sync your Google Merchant Center, which will be like your kind of base for all your products in your catalogs. Sync that feed to your video ads, and you can then visually expand your call to action button with the best sellers that you want to feature and drive traffic through to product pages on your website. Yeah, so that's really cool. WhatsApp have also got a small update that they're testing in Brazil. So they announced this month that they've gone live with the ability to send and receive money through WhatsApp. using what we know is Facebook Pay. But yeah, they're testing it in Brazil. They're hoping that it's going to come to everybody in the near future. But ultimately, this is going to help those of you who use WhatsApp for business to showcase your products and services, but to also take bookings and also to receive money for those services and products as well. Okie dokie, anybody who's using Snapchat? Again, I'd be really interested to know if you do. I still think it's got massive potential in any business strategy, particularly around the advertising element. And that rolls into their update of this month, saying that they've launched a range of advertising educational courses, a bit like your Facebook's Blueprint training and Twitter's Flight School. Snapchat have a new platform called Snap Focus, and it will offer a number of courses on the various Snap ad options and tools, which it will include overviews, visual rundowns, and then there's a test at the end of each to check that you've taken it all in. But yeah, those other sites as well, if you haven't looked at those, Blueprint and Flight School, really great places for learning on both those channels. Okay, and then moving on to Pinterest, last of 2 updates for you guys. We mentioned stories a short while ago around Twitter and fleets. Well, Pinterest have begun testing a new version of stories called Story Pins. And unlike stories on other platforms, which are often self-focused snippets of someone's life, Story Pins are designed as clickable content. So these are focusing on sharing ideas, such as a step-by-step guide to a cooking recipe or creating a craft project. So yeah, really fun and educational. These could also offer ideas around, let's say, how to reorganize your home office, keeping your kids entertained, beauty tutorials, etc. The content added will live within that story pin itself rather than linking off platform. So this will allow people to ultimately complete a project and complete that story and viewing experience without actually having to leave the app. So I really like that. Any Pinterest users, I think that's got huge potential. Okay, last 2 then, a couple of fun ones. So Zoom has now decided to provide end-to-end encryption to all its customers, not just those who pay for the subscription. I think they came under a lot of backlash in the last kind of couple of months. They received some negative comments that basic security shouldn't be a premium feature for the wealthy. So they have enhanced encryption, which is available starting in July. So that'll be good news to everybody who's using Zoom currently. And then lastly, I really like this, Apple. Apple have been granted a patent for a feature that will allow users to create a group selfie, even when everyone in the photo is in a different location. I love this. You know, from a business owner who's got a team working, most of the time at home currently, I really love this. I want some team photos. Rather than taking a screenshot of our Teams meeting every week, essentially each person will be able to take a selfie on their phone, send it to the person who requested the group selfie, and then it can all be assembled. So the app puts the individual pictures together for you, but then once created, those involved will have the ability to arrange the faces in the photo as they want. So I think that's a really cute update from Apple. Yeah, and that concludes. I know Lisa loves that. I love that too. I'm literally like updating the app because I really want to see that come through ASAP. And that'll be group selfies galore, team. Cool, so that's it, everybody. That is our update for June. Quite a lot there. As I said, we will be adding that into a blog post for you onto the website, so you can go back and have a read through of all the updates that we've spoken about today in more detail. If you do have any questions, you know where we are. Please just add them into the comments and we'd be more than happy to answer them for you. If you're not already, do join our Facebook group, the Social Media Academy, where I'm always available for you guys if you've got questions there as well about your social media and marketing strategy. But that's it for this month. Do tune in, same time, same place. I think same month, no, July, end of July, last Monday of every month, Social Media Roundup news. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Take care, have a great week, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.